Hi, Eric here from Laser Scanning TV, and this is the news from the point cloud and scanning hardware devices software workflow market for the June 26. And if you don't like to miss the coolest stuff from the market, stay tuned. Yeah, I'm back here sitting in my measurement van. I'm up in the Nordics to do I have to do some private stuff, but also I met some partners and friends. Maybe I can show you something more in the future about what we've seen here, what kind of technology is here in development in the Scandinavics. Yeah, let us go here to these my first news. So the biggest news I think from the June was the release of the new RTC from Leica. We done a complete video for this. If you are super interested in all details, check out this video. We will link it here in the show notes. I think what you have to know to the previous version, that we have an upgrade in the hardware device. Also we have new I think there's some new sensors inside. They've done something with the EMO. They have also tuned a little bit the point cloud performance, so they have a less noise and are more accurate, and it's an IP55. I think, I don't know, this was before. Then they combined this field to office collaboration. That's definitely new. They're working also with the WIS technology, done something on this, that this works better, and yeah. And the rest should be work like in the past for the already existing Leica customer. Price tag here on the US side, they're giving also a price tag started by $46,000, but this is the entry product line. If you go to the most advanced product line where you have all these higher features and higher speed, the price tag will be then a little bit higher as 46. So it's like also interesting, the terrestrial laser scanner goes up and not goes down, so it's a little bit interesting if you could look to the scan market where we have a drop down by the price. So that's a little bit interesting how this is working for the terrestrial scanner market. It's not only a Leica thing, it's a thing for all of them. We stay in Hexagon, so Leica, you know, it's part of the Hexagon group. They are now also giving information that they complete acquisition of Inertial Sense. I heard from them before. Inertial Sense, here we can see it, they produce very small inertial, it's like an INS system, as inertial navigation system, combined EMO, GPS, wheel decoder, so everything what you need to navigate systems, and you can use it here like in a cutting robot for your garden, and but also to navigate autonomous cars, robots, vehicles. I think that's what this company does, and I think you can see this fits in their and Leica's product line. I think they want also try to be good in this robotic application market. Let us go further. There's another announcement from Hexagon. They also acquired this company. They call them ITRES, but this means is something. It's a lab thermal research, something was the name, and this company is specialized in hyperspectral and hyperthermal sensor systems, and that is for detecting, like, you know, here snow, or if you're looking for, if you have any maybe heating in the ground, so to guide, and I think you can also use this for vegetation issues, or to look if there is any hot areas, like a small fire in your area. I think for this you can use this kind of sensors, and this fit in this Hexagon product line where you already have cameras and also LiDAR system. This means now they can offer with this solution the many sensors from the airborne. So this means they have a complete portfolio for these airborne operations. Then we go also to the air. No, at first we go to the water, and then we go to the air. So China, the biggest player from the Asian market for geospatial systems, announced a new sonar system for their Apache product line, and this is the HN400M MBS for high resolution bathymetric survey. This means you have here an 145 degrees wide angle. This makes very efficient with your, and they have a multi-beam echo sounder, so they can measure the ground, but also with the echo sounder, I think they can also get information about the water situation. And this makes them very efficient For what you need this is, they show here an application where they done like a bathymetric survey of one of the most busy water channels in China. I think there was now, with the new 5 years plan from Chinese government, I think there was something that they like to reactivate or make it more efficient, this waterway. And there is, I think they will do some digging, and they need also a survey. And you see this is a large area, and you question why people using these, not a big survey boat. And the reason was that is a shallow water area. We saw it here on the side, and you see here the green area. It's maybe not so deep, so that is not a problem with the boat. I think they can go up to 30-40 centimeters. As well as heavy traffic, I think it's also a problem if you have a big boat. Then you have high sedimented water, what's usually give you a low accuracy. They have floating vegetation inside and step banks and complex geometry. So for this kind of tricky areas is an URV boat a much smarter solution as a complete survey vessel, a big one. So I think we will see more of these, and especially if you have better sensors and in the market, I think that will be increased the use of this kind of URV boats. Then CHGNIF also launched a new airborne sensor. We have this Alpha Air 15 Pro LiDAR system for high altitude mapping with up to 3,200 meters. So this means you can use them for infrastructure projects, and you can put it, but it has lightweight, like only 2.6 kilo. This means you can put them also on drone, but I think an installation on some airborne sensors should be also possible. I think there are also a few integrators, they use the system in their system. And this is for high density point cloud capturing and with a good vegetation penetration. And as I said, you have a high performance sensor that you can use on a smaller drone, and you don't need a big airplane to do this. And they also now announced an update of their post-processing software CoProcess. In this, you have an AI-driven interface for processing, scan-to-CAD drafting, terrain modeling, and LiDAR data workflows. They're working on working with larger data sets, that they have the survey and CAD capacity. This means also generation of DEMs and DSMs and contour lines, and they simplify the workflow. And then we come to another big player from Asia, to XSquid. And they are not only doing the smart sensors like the Portal Cam and now the K2, they are also working. As I think as a big advantage what they have is their software development. And now they are giving like the Lixus Studio 4.0 with a lot of new functionality inside, like processing the data to sharper installation. You see here how you can upgrade data in their workflow. They also try to stop this misalignment in buildings. So make it more stable, and it looks is like in 14, I think they've done here 14 level building stairs, and you don't have any big overlaps. I think that is also good for the engineering work. Then they have much more on processing and repair on data sets. Maybe you have some data sets, they have some empty holes from the capturing, so they can manipulate them and make them to a nicer view. I think they have this one here. They have also for the CAD work, some applications inside. And then they also deliver the Lixil Cybercolor, and this is now the words get their Photoshop. So now you have like a model editor, like a Photoshop for 3D, and you can working like easy like with photos, and you can manipulate, taking artifacts out. Then you have possibilities for VR application. You can put complex scene, but you can also put objects inside. You can work with very large data set. You can place physical objects in the virtual world, and I think it's there will be coming more. So that's very interesting. I think one of these software, one of our guys does also intensive testing. There's also an option to make Gaussian splats with only photos or a combination of a NIX Portal Cam or an XSquid device and photos to get a very high result out. And if you're interested, then if you're ready, or maybe you check your channel, and that's the good question. If you've not missed these new stuff, then subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment or tell a friend there's this channel existing, and then You can see the newest upgrades to these, what you can do with the Xgrid devices and other devices in the case of this Gaussian splatting topic. And with this one, I say bye-bye. This was the June from the Point Cloud and Gaussian splat in VR and 3D market from our side. We see us next time, Eric. Bye-bye.